Welcome to section 1.2 on the order of operations. This will actually be a really nice section to have your graphing calculator for. So we'll do this by hand and then we'll go and double check our work on our graphing calculator. So first, the order of operations. Now the order of operations, if you remember, like I first learned, I learned it as please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. It's just that sort of acronym to help remember what are all the different pieces of it. So in order, P for please actually stands for parentheses. Then excuse, the E stands for exponents. My dear, or M and D, stands for multiplication and division. And then Aunt Sally, A and S, addition and subtraction. Not an S, that's supposed to be a minus sign. So what this says is we need to start with parentheses first. Well, if I look over at our equation here, there are no parentheses. So we're done with that one. Next, we need to look for exponents. Well, we do have a 3 squared, which would be the same as 3 times 3, which is 9. So, but other than that, no other exponents. Multiplication and division come on the same level. So that means you just have to go in the correct order, reading it from left to right. So 27 divided by 9, that means that part is going to come out to be 3, because 27 divided by 9 is 3. Then we still have a times 2 minus 3. Well, now we have our multiplication, so 3 times 2 is 6, so what's left is 6 minus 3. Well, now there's only one step left, so you can solve that 6 minus 3 is 3. Now, if we were going to go and do this on your graphing calculator, I'll pull that up quick. On your graphing calculator, if you were to do this, you could just type it in as is, like exactly as written. So you would have 27 divided by 3 squared. So you could do 3 squared. This little x to the second power button just stands for squared. And then it's times 2 minus 3. And now if you hit enter, you get your answer of 3, which if you remember, that is the same answer that we got when we were doing it by hand. So that's kind of exciting. And that's one nice advantage with using a graphing calculator, is it can do it all at once. Now, if we're going to go and try this a little bit further just on our own, we'll start with this first problem and start with order of operations. So parentheses first. So 13 minus 8 is 5. So 7, and then 5 is inside the parentheses. Now, as you recall from 1.1, if there's nothing between a number and the parentheses, that's implying multiplication. So 7 times 5 will bring us to 35. On this next one, we'll start out looking inside our parentheses again. But when you're looking inside the parentheses, you have to make sure you still follow the order of operations within the parentheses. So looking here, we actually have to do the exponent first before we can add the 1. So 3 squared is 9, plus 1 would be 10. So 24 minus 10 brings us down to 14. Now this third one, we actually have stacked parentheses, and sometimes a book will use different types of parentheses to help you keep track of where it's stacked at. So we have these blocked parentheses right here and here, and inside of that we have the rounded parentheses. So we have to start within the furthest inmost set of parentheses first, and then work our way out. So 8 plus 13 would give us a 21. 30 minus 21 would give us a 9. So what's left then is 2 parenthesis 9, which means 2 times 9, which is 18. Now let's go and try this on our graphing calculator with these same problems. Oops, I need to share my graphing calculator screen with you though. So on our graphing calculator, that first problem was 7, then in parentheses, 13 minus 8. Our answer was 35. Graphing calculator gave us 35. Second question was 24 minus parentheses 3 squared plus 1. And our answer is 14. Graphing calculator says 14. There we go. And for the third one, it was 2, and then our stacked parentheses. Now, our graphing calculator, we're just going to stick with these basic parentheses here. You just need to pay attention to make sure you always finish your parenthesis and don't accidentally leave that off. So 2, then our first set of parentheses says 30 minus, then our second set of parentheses says 8 plus 13. Then we can close the second set of parentheses, and then we also have to close the first set of parentheses as well. And our answer was 18. Graphing calculator gets 18. So that's kind of a nice trick in being able to use our graphing calculator to help solve these types of problems. So moving on, the last problem is asking us to evaluate when x equals 4, with this equation of 9x over 3x plus 2. Well, we can do this just replacing each x with a 4. And I'll put it in parentheses to help remind us that this would be 9 times 4 instead of 94, because those are two different things. And you need to just make sure that you remember that we are still multiplying there. So 9 times 4 over 3, 4 plus 2. Well, 9 times 4, that's 36. Order of operations has parentheses first, so 4 plus 2 is 6, times 3 is 18, and then 36 divided by 18, well, that's going to go and give us 2. So our answer here should be 2. Now let's go and try this on our graphing calculator just to finish things off and make sure that everything went the way it should. So if you remember, our x is supposed to be 4, so we'll do 4 store as x, and now it was 9x over, now when you're doing stuff on the bottom, I almost will always put the bottom part in parentheses, because otherwise it will do order of operations, and when addition and subtraction get in there, that's just not as good. So I'll put in my left parenthesis, and then it was 3, and then another set of parentheses, x plus 2. We'll close the second set of parentheses, and then we'll close the first set of parentheses. So now if you notice that entire bottom of the fraction, the entire denominator, is enclosed in parentheses, just to make sure order of operations doesn't mess us up. And our answer that we got by hand was 2. The calculator agrees with us. So that's it. That's all there is to section 1.2, order of operations. As always, make sure you send me an email or ask questions if you have any. Good luck.